We're back in our PSW shift. We have assigned a keyword. We've set the date and time. The instructions are whatever you'd like them to be. We've set some glossary terms. We've now set a minimum and maximum. The maximum invited people is for future functionality. It doesn't affect anything right now. Just leave that at 0. The maximum number, you could set that as high as you'd like, and the minimum obviously as well. It just depends on the kinds of shift that you have, how many people you think you need. If you can take more, then this would be set higher. But if it's, for instance, a driver and you only have one, you only have space for one, then you might want to set that the same number so that you don't have too many people accepting some work where they're not actually going to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and save that. Now, the next part is setting a location. So we could set a location for the work, and the way that we do that is through a connection with Google Maps. So let's say that the shift was to be at 250 Sydney Street, and we could name this Site A. And what we're able to do is assign that, since it's connected and has been looked up and verified by Google Maps, we're able to use that for navigation purposes. And I'll show that to you in a minute. If we use a verification function where there has been GPS, this is the geofencing system. So if and when the worker gets within 5 meters of the location, then the system can be programmed to automatically log them in since they've reached that location. But it is limited by settings on the workers' phones. There are people who don't want to have location settings on, so we need to be aware of that. And if we wanted to show the map, we can. So you can see we're connected to Google Maps here. And we're able to see on the map where the job location is. And that would mean that for workers who are unfamiliar with that location, they would actually be able to use Google Maps through their phone, assuming they're using a phone, to help them navigate to where they need to go for work. So I'll turn that off for now, but we'll keep that location there. The next step then is to add a worker. So there are several different ways to do this. If we have a particular PSW that we would like to assign specifically, say it's a particular client, then we may add someone from a roster. So let's go to, say, the Site A roster, and we can select someone from there. Let's say Barney is an excellent worker. We'll go ahead and assign that person. And let's make sure that we've saved it. The warning comes if I've made a change to the shift information and I haven't clicked save. If I try to move off the page, there'll be a warning that I haven't saved that information. So that's all that warning is. Now notice that below the shift, I now have the name of one of my workers. We call this the appointment. It goes with the shift. And if we click on that, we get more information. So we can see that there's an opportunity for keywords here. We can see the name of the person, and we can see their status is design. We call this design mode. And what that means is they're scheduled to do it, they're staged, but they have not yet been made aware that there's a shift available for them. And this is part of the planning process. I may want to plan all of my shifts for the week or the month, but I may not want those volunteers or workers to know yet that I have those people scheduled. So it's an opportunity for me as an administrator to get all of my planning done. And then what I'm able to do is either accept if they've visited or phoned and given me verbal confirmation, I can just accept on their behalf manually. Or I can send this out as an invitation, and what that does is it sends an email and maybe, depending on their settings, a notification to their smartphone that there is a shift available for them. Then they're able to log in and they can accept it on their phone, or they can accept it by logging into the website at the end of the day. So depending on how you'd like to communicate with your workers, there's quite a bit of flexibility built in. Now, if I were to click on invite, and I'll do that so that you can see what that looks like. Now, you'll notice that the color has gone to gold, and that's familiar. It was the same when we were doing the roster invitations. Gold means that there has been an invitation sent and that we're waiting for a response. And when we get a response, then there will be some change in color here. And that's what happens when when we send an invitation. Now, if someone phoned me and said I will go ahead and do that shift, of course I can click on accepted now. If I want to change the worker, I can just return to design mode and take them out of that shift. I'll show you what that looks like. Notice they've returned to the black do not enter sign, and that means that I'm now able to cancel that appointment, and you'll see that it's now been removed from the shift. So if we want to go ahead and assign another worker, I can go and do the same thing, or since I know the person's name, I can go and add them that way just through the search. Let's go ahead and let's say they phoned me and said they're available, then I can just go ahead and click on accepted. Now notice that we now have a green thumbs up. And as an administrator, we're happy to see that. That means that the shift has been satisfied. I need one person and one person has accepted. So that's the first way of being able to assign people to shifts. And in the next video, I'll talk about rosters.